2015 Volkswagen Tiguan, a 2-litre TDI engine and a 4-motion. So the 4-motion means that it has a thing called a Haldex coupler. It's the diff in the back which can engage the rear wheels. These cars, they normally run front wheel drive, but when it detects slip in the back, it engages the rear. So we're going to do a service on the coupler. So this is a Generation 5 Haldex coupler. This is the latest generation of these, and you can tell you have a Generation 5 because there's no serviceable oil filter in this. So on the 4s, in around the back area there was like a dome bit and 2 screws, and there was a serviceable filter there. This one doesn't have no filter at all. So we're going to go a wee bit extra and do a couple of extra things that Volkswagen actually don't say to do. But guys on the networks there with experience of these advise doing an extra procedure, which I'm going to show in this video. So Haldex, if you're not familiar with the word and what it is, this car runs in front wheel drive 100% of the time. And when it detects slip in the back wheels, it will put power to the back wheels by engaging a friction clutch, which is a wet clutch, a bit like a motorbike clutch. So there's a pump there, and whenever you turn the ignition on, that pressurizes the system to about 30 bar. And then there's a relief valve in it that the module is able to control. It turns it on, which puts the pressurized fluid into the friction to the clutch plate and engages the clutch, and thus engages the drive in the back. So you can have a maximum of 50-50 power split from the front to the back, but it can control it. That pump there is pulse width modulated, so it can control the amount of pressure that it can put on and actually control the engagement. So it's quite smart. Haldex, Swedish company, originally they invented 4-wheel drive in the Audi Quattros back in the 80s that dominated the rallying. Since then, however, sometime in their history they were bought over by BorgWarner. So it's BorgWarner that makes this, and you make it out there, you see a big W on it there. So this is made by BorgWarner, and yeah. So here we have, that's the filler, that's the drain. So first things first, we've checked the temperature, so we're going to crack the filler first and make sure it's going to come off, as you do with all boxes, diffs, transfer boxes. Always crack the filler first, make sure you can get the oil back into it again, and then we're going to just let it drain out. The animation of the Haldex 5 there, this is a promotional video from BorgWarner themselves. So that's your clutch plates there in front of you, and there's the motor that we're going to take out. So this is a picture of a Haldex 4 coupler, so the previous generation, and this area here, that dome thing there that I was talking about, which is above the pump, that's the replaceable filter. But Volkswagen say you don't have to change it. That's a lifetime filter, I think they refer to it as. And as anybody that's done any of these, whenever they take them out, they're pretty much clogged up. So you want to do this, the oil temperature between 20 and 40 degrees is the specification. Any cooler than 20 degrees, if it's a cold day or whatever, you want to take the thing for a bit of a drive, something first, before you go to drain this out. But the ambient temperature here is it's about 18 or 19 degrees, so just run the car for a wee minute or two and we can get the temperature up. So we're happy enough to proceed.
So, crack the first one. There's wee Allen's. And we'll make sure we get the seal there. So we'll let that drain for a wee bit. Right, so this is the extra bit that is recommended to do, and it's remove the pump. And you'll see why we want to do that. Now, this isn't in the Volkswagen procedure. This is just guys with experience are advising to do this. And the reason is because this Generation 5 has not got a filter in it, but it has a strainer in it. It has a strainer built onto the end of the pump. So it's a lot of the guys are saying that we need to remove this pump and clean out the strainer just sort of manually and put it back on again. So there's two 10mm hold this pump on. And what it didn't show you was the wire of the pump goes right over the top of the housing, the differential unit itself, over to the module on the left hand side of it, and it comes in right at the top of the module. Now, to get it's just an ordinary Volkswagen type connector, and you have to do like a reach around with your hand, and you can get it off, and it's connected to the top of the housing with a couple of clips, which are easier to remove than what you think. The wire is quite taut, and you think, oh, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare to get that out. But you get a wee look at it with a mirror, and you can get it off okay. So I'll get this pump out, and I'll take it to the bench.
So the two 10mm bolts out, and a wee bit of a wiggle and a wee bit of a twist, that pops out, and there are the two clips that I was talking about. So you can just pinch them with your fingertips, and they'll just slide out. Those two wee clips there, just pinch them with your fingertips, and it's the normal Volkswagen type connector on it. So you have to do the reach around, as I said, your hands coming up the back of the coupler like that. So the way to take these Volkswagen connectors off, just in case you maybe struggle with them sometimes, I see an awful lot of these wee tabs. You can see them all chewed up, where people have been sticking screwdrivers in here and trying to pull this up. You don't need to do that, okay? You can take this off with your fingertips, no problem, every time. So what you have to do is a wee technique to it, and what you have to do is you need to push it in first and give it a good push. Like, you need to put a bit of strain on it, you give it a good bump there, and you just give it a wee push. Now, you don't have to do this simultaneously at the same time, but as long as you push it in forward, that you just pull that with your fingernail. You just give that a wee bit of release, and it'll pull off. It should pull off doing that. But the trick is you push it in first, and you just grab that. So that's how I get that off. No screwdrivers or pick tools or nothing like that. You couldn't get anything in there anyway because of where it was. That's right up at the back of the module. So and that's the wee clips that's holding it in. So you just pinch them with your fingers, and you slide that out. That wire is taut around the top of the housing. So we need to treat it with respect. But anyway, this is what we're after. This is what we're wanting to look at. And this is not in any Volkswagen procedure. This is something that we've learned to do ourselves. And this is a bit of a secret, and I'm sharing it with you. And because this Generation 5 has no replaceable filter or serviceable filter, it has this, what can be described as a strainer on the end of the pump. So that's the strainer, and when you pull that pump out, a bit of a twist, a bit of a twist, and a bit of a rocking, and a bit of a wiggle, and she comes out, and you get another deluge of oil that resides in the female side of the housing that this sits in. So there's no dumpy oil comes out of it, which you wouldn't have got out by doing the normal drain plug that didn't come out with the drain plug. Never will, because it's just lying in the bottom of it. And there's the problem. Now, these Haldex couplers that are fitted to these Volkswagen group of cars, the recommend is 40,000 miles for to change the oil, and all it is a drain and fill. That's all Volkswagen or most dealers, I imagine, will do, because that's what the procedure is. They do not pull this pump out. Now, there's a high failure rate of these pumps and the modules, and they're horrifically expensive. It's thousands of pounds. So unless the car's under warranty, and obviously if it's not, if the service hasn't been carried out, they probably won't cover it. I don't know. It depends. That's between you and the dealer. But so much so that Volkswagen have actually reduced that from 40,000 miles to every 3 years, regardless of mileage. So that's the 3 years, and that's basically the car out of warranty now. So the problem that a lot of guys think is that this suffers from overcurrent because the pump's working too hard. It can't push the oil through this because it's blocked, and the current is supplied from the module and it burns the module out. So what I did was, whenever you turn the ignition on in this, it runs this pump to put the pressure up to the 30 bar. So it's anticipating that you might have slip, and so the thing is ready to use when it detects slip in the wheels. So I took a wee capture of the current and the voltage of this pump on the live data before, and then I'll do that afterwards and see if there's any change. So it's not a huge amount of current. It's 3 or 4 amps or something, but I think it's individual there is. I think that speaks for itself. So there's a couple of wee boys there, a couple of wee Torx heads, very, very small, and I can come up in the camera there. So we're going to take that off and just manually clean this out, just under the tap, really. I don't really want to put any brake cleaner, any chemicals near it, because I don't want it to break down or come apart if that wee thing is glued in, you know. So that's how I'm going to proceed. It's recommended you change these seals, but I'm going to leave it. I'm happy enough that those seals are still good. If those were ripped, if you've done this, maybe pull this out a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. Maybe the next time I do this, we'll change all the seals and stuff. So there we go. So I'm not going to film taking this off and clean this out. I'm gonna do that, and I'll show you that afterwards. So going to be a bit shaky. I'm going to show you the inside of this housing, and we're going to move in on the inside of it. And there's a lot of muck and debris lying on the bottom of that housing. You can see it all black there. So we'll give that housing a clean out with paper towels. Just paper towels with, that are soaked in brake cleaner. I'm not going to spray brake cleaner in there, but I'm just going to give it a clean out with the paper towels.
This is T10 Torx in this. Very small Torx there. You can see that. So crack these 2 wee screws. So we're going to have a clean under the tap. Right, so this is another wee thing I'm going to do here. Don't know where everybody does this or not. Very light air pressure.
So that's the result of holding that under the tap with a wee bit of washing up liquid or dish soap there and just massaging it with my finger nice and gently, and under a tepid water tap. Then let that dry out, give it a wee bit of a wipe with paper towel, and we're going to offer it back up the pump again. Now this will go on the wrong way. It will actually go on that way if you're not watching what you're doing. So the semicircle there going along with the body there. So just offer it up. It's quite fragile, so nice and gentle with it there. And we'll offer up our 2 screws. Just back out it a wee bit. We want to bring them in nice and even. Just hand tight there at the minute, and just a wee nip up. Okay, so we'll just leave the pump there for the minute and we'll go back on to the main body under the car. Just before we do that, I'll just say this car has 46,500 miles on it. We don't believe that this oil has ever been changed, and judging by the clogging up of that strainer there, I would put it very, very likely that this guy would have had a failure either with this pump or with the module, or maybe even both, which would have been thousands of pounds to fix. So this is the importance of doing this. So before we put the pump back in again, and with the drain plug still out, and before I clean the pump housing out, I'm going to give this a wee toot here. I have a rubber seal on the end of it there, on this airline here. So let's see if we can offer that up. I'll give this a wee toot. So my hand's in the road there, but you can see more black muck coming out of the drain there. So it's a bit messy, that. There's quite a lot of muck come out with that wee blow there, so I'm gonna put the drain in, a couple of threads, and we'll have this Haldex oil in the filler. So I've had to make a wee adapter because it's a very small drain there. So I have that on the top. I have one of the ones that come in the kit. You got a fuel line, and then it goes down to smaller. You got a tape around it, so hopefully that'll do this. So I'm going to put a tiny wee taste of Haldex oil in this. not very much. Maybe about 50 millilitres or something. And I'm going to remove that drain again. And that's what I put in there. And we're going to give it another wee toot. So as though the pump is still out, I haven't put the pump in yet. So the oil coming out of that is absolutely black. So we'll let that drip for a while, and we're going to clear the pump housing out, ready for the pump. So that's the pump housing cleaned out, and I'll dip our finger in the tray there. Give this these O-rings a wee bit of a, make them nice and wet. Make that nice and wet with the oil. There. Feed the wire up in first. That's it. And we'll give her a bit of a twist and push. And that's perfect. So we just need to feed the wire back up around the top of the diff. Get it connected in again. Okay, that's the wire fed up round. It's you can do it alright. You need to just feel it with your hand. It's connected in on the other side of the module, so it just goes over the top of it. And we'll get these two 10 millers in here. 10 mil heads. Now I have a long socket here. Oh man. Give them a nip up. Some run up in. Just give them a tight. Nice and evenly. So you're putting a steel bolt in an aluminium housing here, so you don't want to go overzealous on that. And I don't know what the torque spec is, but more than enough. Right, so that's probably as much muck we can get out of this as we can. So we're going ahead and do the fill. So give that a wee bit there, and stick our drain bung in. It's quite a long drain bung in it. So it's an 8 mil Allen on that, and the torque spec is 30 newton meters, and you want to replace that washer if you can. So here we go, guys. Okay, 38 meters. So we'll go ahead with the fill. I'm a wee homemade filler here. That fits in the hole nicely. Just give it support a wee bit. So this thing should only take about 650 milliliters, and you just fill it there, it runs out. So I'll have to hold this up. So we just fill it up there till it runs out, and a wee bung for that one is a lot smaller, so it's 15 newton meters for the fill. Okay, that's the oil that came out of it there. So there's 500 milliliters here, and that is just over 250, so roughly about 750. The book says 650 for a drain and fill. So I think because we took the pump out and got that wee bit extra out of it, I also put a wee bit in and blew it out again. So it is about, say, about 750. You get a wee bit more out of it, maybe up to 100 millilitres more. We're doing that extra procedure there. And this is the oil here. It is not the DSG oil now. That is completely different. And it's in a litre container, but you only get 850 millilitres in it. So that just about does it. You don't have really anything left over. So I had to make sure I was getting the absolute drags out of the bottom of my wee drainer to get that to overflow. But it is overflowing, and I'm happy enough that I've put in definitely as much as I took out of it, if not a wee bit more, because we did that extra procedure there that isn't in the book. So this, as I said, is not DSG oil. It is completely different. The DSG oil is like an amber colour, like an apple juice colour, and this is completely clear. So that's from a visual. As you maybe saw in the last clip there when I was draining there, you probably couldn't see the oil going through the tube, and that's because it's completely transparent. So that is pretty dear from Volkswagen, but if you do that extra bit there, you're using every drop of that, so don't spill anything. So to get the pump motor running, all you do is start the engine, and it turns it on. So it has to build the pressure up, so that the pressure is there, ready for if it's required. If it's required to engage the clutch and give you the all-wheel drive or the four-wheel drive. So this is before I did the oil change, and I only ran it for a few seconds by the looks of it. So we can see a startup current there of 3.882, 70% pulse width, and 2.5 volts. And it's sitting at 22 degrees, which is about ambient temperature. It's been pretty warm the last couple of days, so there isn't an awful lot of data there. Let me see, scroll across. 3.8, 2.8, 31% pulse width there, 31% duty cycle there. So 3.8, 2.8, 2.81 up to. So a bit of startup current, and it evens out. And there's an amp, 1.2 amps, and back up to 2.8. So this is after we did that. I ran it a wee bit longer because I was wanting to capture this data. So that's the engine running, and it's right at the start. So that's start up there, 1.1, 15%, 1.8 volts, 1 amp, 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 12% duty cycle. That's a massive difference that clean out has made. Now, I think you saw the state of the strainer on the pump. If you just change the oil, it would help it, but if you don't take that pump out, I think it's a bit of a waste of time. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and it's there about 20, 21 degrees, just hovering between 21 and 22 degrees. So something similar in temperature, but you can see the pump is definitely not working very hard there at all. So, okay. Thanks very much for watching. That's the end of this video. Strongly recommend you do that. Anybody with a 4 motion, especially on the 5. If you have a 4, you need to change that wee filter as well, even though Volkswagen say it's there for life. I don't know how they come up with all this, all these recommendations. You know, they're just nonsense, and I think they just warranty things. They just put a time on it or a mileage so that it gets out of the warranty period. I don't know. That's pretty cynical, and I don't want to slag off any manufacturers on this. So thanks very much for watching. All the best, and bye bye.